saw from the intro, we're looking at part number 4 of the 2005 desk fan project. This is the motor support. I'm making it out of red 3mm Perspex. It's not a difficult piece, but it does involve a few more things that you mightn't have seen in these videos before. Before I started, I just filed this edge and this edge 90 degrees and smooth, so I got rid of any bandsaw marks off it. It's already smooth now, and I know that this angle is 90 degrees, so this is going to become my bottom corner to match up with here. What do we need to do for this piece? Well, first of all, we're going to mark it out, which will be in this section. We need to drill a number of holes. This one we know is 4.5, and then we have 3 holes up here to drill, which there's no dimensions for except for the middle one, and then there's X here for the distance between the 2 outside ones. That is dependent on the motor that you are using. So here I have the motor that I'm going to use. The 6mm is for this section here, the little stick out that will go in there. If you're using a different motor from the one I'm using, you may need to measure that and adjust your dimension here. The distance X is the distance between these 2 holes, and in my case I'm pretty sure it's 18mm, no sorry, it's 14mm, so I'm going to have to measure 7 either side. And also you need to take into account the screws that you're going to be attaching with. So these are my 2 little screws here, and I need to drill 3.5 holes here and here for those. The last thing that will be done after the drilling and the filing and emery paperwork will be that we have 2 bend lines. So I'll be using the hot wire strip heater to bend these 90 degrees, and I'll use a piece of wood to help me bend that appropriately. So other than that, it's the usual marking out tools: ruler, T-square, scriber to make marks for the drilling, and a pen and compass. And I have my drill bits already sorted out. So let's get started. Okay, to marking out, I'm going to do the horizontal lines that I need first. So this is my base, which matches up with the bottom of the piece. I have another line at 30mm up, that's where I'm going to bend it first, and 24mm further on another bend, and then another 105mm up to this point here. So I'm going to mark those dimensions now. So 30 plus 24 is 54, and then 54 plus 105 is 159. So I'm going to T-square those points across. You have to pick this up, it's a little too thin. And I'm always using the stock of my T-square up against the smooth edge. Okay, the next step is to identify the line on the right hand side of our piece. So we know that the thing is 28 wide. We are going to want the center line up here, but we'll worry about that in a little minute. So 28 across, I'm going to mark that on the bottom. 28. Now normally you could get a T-square and put it against the stock like that and just draw a line up, and that will work most cases, but you can see here that the T-square doesn't quite reach the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 28 up here as well from the same side, and then join it with a ruler. There we go. So everything to the left as you're looking at it here is waste. I'll turn that around now in a sec, it'll be on the right. Okay, so we want to identify this curve up here. Its radius 14. We know this is 28 across, so we just need to get the halfway point, which is 14. I'm going to use my scriber to make a little dent in there. And then I'm going to set my dividers up to 14 as well. Starting at 10 plus 14 is 24. And draw a curve. Now, we've already suggested, and I'm just going to quickly double check, but I think we said the gap there was 14 millimeters, and it is. So we need to measure 7 millimeters either side of the center line. So I'm going to start at 10 and mark 3 on this side and 17 on this side. Again, use my dividers to make a mark so the drilling will be easier. And that's the top end of the piece done. Now, this hole here, there's a couple of ways of marking it out, as there is with everything. We know that it's 12 down. It doesn't say how far across it is, but you can presume when it says nothing that it's on the center line. So we could measure 12 down from here, or up from here, T-square line across, and measure across 14. Or, because this is a rectangle, we can join the diagonals, and where they cross is also the center. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just join up the diagonals here. And that is the same center as if we'd measured down 12 and across 14. Scriber to make a mark. And we've one thing to finally, or two things to finally do. We've got fillets of radius 5 down here. In the previous video, as I pointed out, if whatever the radius is, measure that distance from one side and the other side, and that gives you the center. So I'm going to measure up 5, T-square line across, measure in from here 5, and in from here 5. (28 minus 5 is 23. Again, using my scriber, make a little dent for the compass. Set my compass to 5 millimeters, and you'll often find that these small little hole circles are very difficult to do. If you had a circle template, you could use that. I have enough of circles there to guide me when I'm filing it. So now the next step is drilling. That's the marking out complete. Alright, so here we are at the hot wire strip heater, and we're going to prepare for bending the plastic. I have a piece of wood that is the thickness that we want, and coincidentally it was the piece of wood I was drilling on. Be careful with this hot wire strip heater. This wire that runs along here and the ends can be very hot and could give you a nasty burn. The plastic, when it's heated up, could also be too hot for your fingers, so be prepared maybe with gloves or with some piece of metal to absorb the heat. So the first thing I do is heat up the machine, and then I put the line that I want to bend directly over the hot wire. It takes approximately, with this machine, about a minute per millimeter of thickness. So this is 3mm acrylic, so about 3 minutes it should be okay to bend, but that will depend on the machine you are using. So I'll be back in approximately 3 minutes. Okay, so that's about 3 minutes. So I want to check now if it's okay to bend it at this stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down here and then just try and lift here, and it should lift nice and gently, and it does. So I'm going to put this around a shaper to put it into the right shape. So this piece of wood has a 90-degree angle, so I'm just going to bend it there and hold it around this for approximately 1 minute, and I'm using the edge here to tell me that I'm in line, and hold that for about 1 minute until the plastic hardens again and resets. I'm keeping my fingers away from the hottest part of it. I don't feel any heat at either of these 2 points, so it's okay to hold it. If it wasn't, you could use a piece of metal or something underneath your finger here. So when I bent the piece, I wasn't thinking. I bent it this direction, and now I can't put it down here on the strip heater. So what I did was I transferred the mark to the other side, and now I can place it down. So I'm just going to wait another 3 minutes or so, and then I'm going to transfer it back to the piece of wood that has the right thickness and bend it around that fully. Okay, so again, that's about 3 minutes. So I'm just going to test it, and there we go, lovely and flexible. And there we go, that's part 4 complete. I just took off the plastic on the outside and cleaned up any wax from polishing that was on it. Not too difficult a piece to make at all. Nice new skill there with the strip heating for bending plastic on it. And that's part 4 done. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Please leave comments if you wish, and I'm going to get on to part 5 in the next video. Thanks for watching.